Hey everyone, my name is Cryptic D Athena, and the Vivre card information for a bunch of characters has leaked. Mainly I want to focus on Kaido and Yamato for this video. So a little while back, I had a theory about Toki is Yamato's mom. And in that theory, I went down a bunch of different ideas as to why this is the case. First I want to share some of those ideas. Toki is born 830 years ago. At some point in her life, she eats the time fruit. At most, she would have to eat it until she was 26, which is when we first meet her. And according to her, whenever she was in danger, that's when the fruit would activate. Because of how her fruit works, she time hops across the One Piece timeline for however long. She would have to do it up until 38 years ago when she meets... Not 38, 30 years ago when she meets Odin. During this time hopping escapade, she meets Kaido. They have a relationship, they have some fun, and Toki is pregnant with Yamato after that incident. But whether it be because of the God Valley incident, maybe Toki was there, maybe she was on the front lines. As we know, she can fight. So maybe she was there helping Kaido. Or, after the God Valley incident, she sees Kaido's true colors. Or perhaps he got so depressed that he was too dangerous to be around. And at some point, he tries to attack her and a fruit kicks in, and she bounces into the future. Toki would have to be at most launched 8 years into the future, because 30 years ago from the main timeline is when she meets Odin. 38 years ago is when the God Valley incident happened, and from there, story plays out normal. However, a very important detail is that 2 years later, after her traveling into the future and meeting Odin, she has Momonosuke, and Yamato is also born off screen. That right there is the only wrench in this theory. How does that make any sense? How does Toki, a pregnant Toki, not have any signs of the pregnancy that she may have had with Kaido if this theory turns out to be correct? Well, I personally believe that it's not out of the realm of possibility that her fruit had some sort of effect on her body. Every fruit that we know of has an effect on somebody's body. Mostly the ones that can passively alter your body, such as Luffy's rubber fruit or Katakuri's mochi fruit. Those sorts of fruits. Who's to say that the time fruit doesn't do a similar thing, but it alters the way that your body ages or some other things about your body? For this particular theory, the time of birth for Yamato is thrown off. So, first she has Momonosuke, lucky for her, but then all of a sudden she gets pregnant again, sort of out of nowhere. Obviously Odin doesn't realize, or he doesn't know, and Toki has Yamato off screen, and likely just dropped Yamato off on Kaido's doorsteps. Like, maybe that was the only way she felt Yamato would survive. I don't know why she would think that, but you know, that's currently what I'm working with here. Obviously this theory, the wrench here being Yamato and Momonosuke being born in the same year is a very big wrench, because it also doesn't make sense that if Toki was trying to escape from Kaido from hurting her, why would she drop off Yamato with an abusive partner? But the other thing about that is that I personally believe that Kaido only became abusive after the God Valley incident. So it's not like Kaido was always smacking Toki around. It's only after the God Valley incident that he was abusive. But you could also spin it like maybe she meets Kaido in Wano, gives Yamato to him because he sees Yamato and it's just like, all the pain he felt after the God Valley incident melts away. I think that could make perfectly good sense. But obviously, it's a very shaky theory. Going back to the Vivre card information, I had initially believed that Kaido was 12 years old during the God Valley incident, because everybody was speculating that Kaido was around 50 years old. And when I first made this theory, I just rounded that down to 50 because I didn't want to speculate any further. I just wanted to see how this theory would turn out in general. But if he was 50 years old today, if he's 50 years old in the current timeline, he'd be 12 years old during the God Valley incident. That doesn't make much sense when it comes to the relationship between him and Toki. And it also doesn't make sense to have a kid on a battlefield. But this is One Piece, where we already have had Luffy and Kobe at Marineford duking it out. So that could make sense, but Kaido and Toki probably really shouldn't make any sense, but you know, it's not the first sus thing in One Piece, that's for sure. The other thing about the Vivre card information is that Yamato's birthplace is, quote, unclear. What does that mean? Like, she wasn't born on Wano? She wasn't born maybe on the Grand Line? Perhaps on the Red Line? Was she born anywhere that we already know? Or is the reason why the birthplace is unclear is because Toki had her off screen mysteriously and delivered her to Kaido, because that's what Toki had to do. It'd be weird, right, if she just came out of nowhere to Oden and be like, so I had this relationship with this guy and he's about to come kill you, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, that's a wild person talk. Like, I'm sure Oden would probably think Toki is crazy or something. But you know what? It's all good. It's fine. So yeah, that's the theory currently. There's some other ideas I had for this theory, such as the Amatsuki family having the Time fruit and the Makami fruit, and they used both in conjunction to protect Wano from whatever, you know? Basically, the idea is the Amatsuki family, the head of the Amatsuki family, has the Makami fruit. And this is how it goes for however many generations up until the Amatsuki family is assassinated by Oroshi's grandfather. During that lineage of Makami fruit users, whenever they would die from old age or from battle, the Time fruit user would travel into the future and make sure that the Makami fruit got back into the hands of Amatsuki family members, and make sure that the family had control of both of them at all times. I think that'd be a very interesting idea. But if anything, I think the Amatsuki family did have the Time fruit at least. They may not have had Makami fruit. As we know, Wano in general, the Makami fruit was the protector of Wano in general. Whether or not the Amatsuki had control of it, we'll probably know by the end of Wano, but I would say it's more likely the Amatsuki had control of the Time fruit more so than the Makami fruit. But I just thought that idea of the family using Makami and the Time fruit in conjunction was a very neat idea. And it was also another explanation as to why Toki traveled into the future. Obviously, we know one of her reasons why is to deliver the prophecy about the 9 red scabbards, or the 9 shadows that would defeat Kaido and save Wano. Whether or not that's the 9 red scabbards or the Straw Hats, we'll know by the end of Wano, right? We'll know that. But it would have been interesting if she also went into the future to protect the Makami fruit. And it's actually kind of fitting if her daughter, that she never had a chance to be the mother of, ended up with the Mikami fruit, and it just so happens that her daughter has nothing, doesn't want to have anything to do with Kaido, that could really make sense with this. And it's a very speculative idea because we don't know anything about Toki. We know hardly anything. We know she can fight, which would make sense if she was protecting the Mikami fruit, or even if she was protecting the Time fruit. We know she has one of the most potentially busted fruits of all time, being the Time fruit. And that's about it. That's all we know about her. We know she also came to tell a prophecy or fulfill a prophecy, but that didn't happen, obviously. And that's everything we know about Toki. We hardly know anything about Yamato. And I think by the end of Wano, the revelation of Yamato's mother, whether it be Toki or not, it will be a genuinely amazing revelation as to whoever Yamato's mother is. And with that, I want to thank you all for watching. Actually, I just realized that I didn't go over Kaido's age. Well, I think I did, but I just wanted to really quickly mention that he'd be 21 since he's 59 right now. He'd be 21 during the God Valley incident, and that would mean that he would be at least legal for Toki to have a kid with. So there's that. And that's everything. That's the entire theory. That's everything I got. What do you all think? I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want, and follow me on Twitter at CrypticHell, Cryptic_HEL, CrypticHell, to see all my videos artwork. This video didn't have an artwork piece, but I'm taking a break for this week. I am taking a break on the art for this week, but the art will be back next week. So, thank you all for watching. Have a good day.